Well, welcome to my channel. I am Larry Olsen, and I am a specialist in the field of performance-driven neurology, which is simply a blending of cognitive psychology and neuroscience. And the reason that's important to all of us is because it helps us understand why we do what we do, day in and day out, whether it's good for us or not. You know, and before I really get into it, those of you that are stuck or having challenges in your life, I don't know if you've noticed, but we get a lot of information and we really get excited about the possibilities that if I do this, then I could probably break out of that rut that I find myself in. And then a month goes by and we haven't taken any action and we still have the same issue, but if we're not careful, we'll start to get comfortable with it. And pretty soon, we've learned how to adapt, and now we go through life still dealing with it, but not really. So I've got an offer that if you take action on and you look back from a month from now, you won't have that issue any longer, no matter what it is. And I'm really excited about it because it's a celebration of my anniversary with my wife and I celebrating 26 years. It's called the Brain Hack Power Pack, and it's got videos, and it's a journey with me and you to be able to resolve what's particularly standing in your way right now and be able to accomplish that which you once thought impossible. So challenge me, find out for yourself, and there'll be a link below. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about today is something fascinating, and it's all about how we learn. Now, it's not about going to school, it's not about all of that, it's about learning why we do what we do, whether it's good for us or not. Learning why I've developed all these attitudes that I have. Learning why sometimes I'll behave and then I'll ask myself, now why on earth did you do that? But it's not the first time I've said that to myself, and the reason is that I've developed a habit. And so it's automatic for me. Whenever that person shows up, I find fault with them. Whenever that person shows up, I find out what I like about them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what's called the cup story. And I developed this story a few years back to help people understand in a really simplistic fashion how our brain processes information, and more importantly, how it develops the long-term memory so that we no longer have to think about how to act. The situation comes up when we act, whether it's good for us or not. Now, this is a cup, as you can see. And you noticed it says something on it. And it's really important, again, how we talk to ourselves. This says, "Dear life, it's beautiful here." Now, I chose that on purpose because I like what it says. It reminds me, even if I'm really judgmental or I'm at my worst, it reminds me, wow, I'm alive. And it's beautiful here. Which again, those of you that have been following me recognize that puts my reticular activating system into play, and I look for all the reasons to like my life. Even if I just got done paying the bills, or I just got out of an argument, or I'm about ready to, and I'm a little unsure of myself, it causes me to take a little time out and remind myself it's a beautiful life. So let's talk about the cup exercise. I'm going to show you how we learn. Let's say you've never picked a cup up before, okay? So you don't know what kind of cup picker-upper you are, all right? So I hand this to you and I say, why don't you go ahead and pick this up, and you drop it. Now, that gets recorded neurologically in the cell of your brain, never to be lost, never to be forgotten. And it's under how you're doing as a cup picker-upper, okay? It could be athlete, artist, writer, singer, you name it. And it even gets more specific in that. But, you know, I want to pick the cup up. So I get handed it again, only to drop it one more time. Now I've failed twice. That's stored neurologically in the cell of my brain. But doggone it, you know, I'm going to make it work this time. So somebody hands me the cup and I drop it again. Do you know how many times the average individual will fail before they give up? 3. Okay? 3 times. Now you would think that and you're probably saying, no, I've tried more times before. Yeah, and there's a difference which I'm going to talk about, and this difference that I'm going to talk about makes all the difference. So stay tuned for this. So, what do I need to do to be a good cup picker-upper? Now this is where all of our education comes into play. When I ask that question of others, they generally tell me, well, I need to practice, okay? I need to be shown how to do it. I need to keep trying. And then ultimately what? Okay, you would think, ultimately I'll get good at it, okay? Now all you have to do is take a look at your own life and ask yourself, what are all the things I ultimately got good at? By that process. And you'll find some things, but more often than not, you'll find that what it really did, this trial error thing for a lot of people, is I didn't like not being able to pick this up. It didn't make me feel good about myself. So you know what? The next time somebody says, would you like something to drink? You know what I'll learn how to do? I'll just do this. Now, why am I doing that? I've learned how to adapt. I didn't learn how to hold the cup. I learned how to do something that allows me to what? Get by. And do you know what else that teaches me to do? It teaches me not to think of myself as that talented. It teaches me to lessen my own self-worth when it comes to what? Well, picking up a cup. But I don't need to. I can find other ways. Now, all of those things that people say you need to do are wrong, because I'm going to share with you what you need to do to be a good cup picker-upper, okay? Now, have you ever heard of Thomas Edison? Okay. Well, if you read his autobiography, do you know how many times Thomas Edison failed trying to make the light go on? Okay? Now think about that. Not 3, not 10, not 1,000, 10,000 times. And here's the thing I want to ask yourself. Why didn't he give up after he failed? Where most people will fail how many times before they give up? Unless something else is going on. And that's what I wanted to share with you, because this makes all the difference again. Why did Thomas Edison not quit? In fact, why did he write down in his journal the mistake that he made? Yeah, absolutely. He wanted to make sure he didn't do that again, because that didn't work. And in order to remember it, he jotted it down. Okay? We didn't want to take any chances. But why didn't he quit? Now this is it. This is so important. And I want you to really grab onto this, because he started out first knowing the light would go on. The way to be a good cup picker-upper is not to learn how. It's to start with knowing you can first. And most of us weren't taught that in school. Most of us never had the education. We just did it automatically when we were little, didn't we? We wanted to do something, we just started. We didn't ask, how do I do that? We didn't get online trying to figure it out. We didn't take class after class. We didn't finally graduate and say, now I am. We just learned along the way, didn't we? But why did we not just quit? Because quitting wasn't even an option to us. It was more about the experience and the learning. So you want to be a good glass picker-upper? Start by seeing yourself as a good glass or cup picker-upper to begin with. And not only do you learn faster, but when you drop it, you get a kick out of it instead of kicking yourself down from that experience. Now, if you found value in that little lesson, in that brain hack, please go ahead and subscribe. And also, just leave us a little message, a like, however you want to do that, because it's such great feedback for me that I'm not just talking into the lens of a camera, that you're looking back at me and you're asking yourself, have I ever been stuck before? Have I ever postponed doing something about it? Or do I plan on taking action right now so that when I look back, whether that's an hour from now or a week from now or a month from now, I can say, wow, that's not a challenge any longer. Now which challenge do I want to take on? Well, let's take them on together. Thank you for taking the time, and I look forward to our next adventure.